Hello, everyone, and thank you once more for joining us in this knowledge transfer session with SwitchON Foundation. I'm Saurabheshwar Sen, founder of Catalyst, welcoming all of you, participants inside the Zoom meet, as well as the ones who are watching us on YouTube Live, to be part of this discussion session where we are very happy to present to all of you Ranjita Bhattacharya from SwitchON Foundation. SwitchON, as many of us are aware, is an award-winning social enterprise working in the space of climate mitigation for over the last 15 years now. SwitchON's headquartered in Kolkata, and they are doing some wonderful work in terms of creating tangible impact from the grassroots level across the sectors. And we are going to know about that more from Ranjita's experience with the organization. Before we proceed with this interactive session, it's my honor to introduce Ranjita to all of you. Ranjita is currently working as a senior project manager, GBIN, which is the Bengal Innovation Network and Research. She has an MA degree in economics from JNU. She previously worked as a program associate in the Department of Corporate Citizenship with SP Jain Institute of Management and Research in Mumbai. And prior to that, she was a business analyst in the retail sector in TCS Bengaluru. She's also been bestowed with the Best Team Player Award at TCS Bengaluru as well. And Ranjita really packs a punch into this SwitchON Foundation team of Kolkata. Ranjita, we are so delighted that we understand out of a very packed and busy schedule where you have to deal with and interact with so many different types of stakeholders, you considered to be with us today at Catalyst and share a very interesting fellowship opportunity to very enthusiastic, I would say, people who have joined us in the meeting. And thank you so much once more for being with us. Before I hand over to Ranjita, an earnest request to all participants in the meeting, feel free to interact throughout the session as much as you want. We are mostly looking at various questions and queries that you might be considering as Ranjita presents to all of us the various opportunity associated with SwitchON Foundation. Feel free to use your chat box to raise any questions. We will definitely be looking at a more dedicated Q&A session after the core presentation of Ranjita. And at any point of time, even if you get a question or you want to ask something specific, feel free to raise a hand or use your microphone, and please request Ranjita to address to your questions. And finally, if your bandwidth allows, we would love to see videos on that helps possibly to steer the conversation better. And Ranjita, we are very happy that we could get you to join us in this discussion session around a very, very important and also a very exciting opportunity that you're going to talk about. Thanks a lot. Over to you.
Thank you, Sarveshwar, for that lovely introduction. And thank you, everyone who has actually made out time and come today for this session. I'm really honored to be part of this interactive session. And like Sarveshwar said, I want to make this as interactive as possible. So please put down your questions, your thoughts, and I don't want to be like this is just a simple presentation and just one directional, unidirectional kind of a session. But yeah, so feel free to put down your questions, your thoughts, comments, feedback, anything for us. So I have a couple of slides just to take you through while I talk, so that you can also connect with whatever I'm talking about. I would like to just share that. So So before I start, could I just have a sense of how many of our participants here who are here today with us? Because I understand from Sarveshwar that a lot of you are probably working in the social space or could be our freshers or want to explore opportunities in the social sector, development sector. But do we have anyone who is working already in the environment in the sustainability space today? It just makes my work a little easy. In case we have, we could just have hands raised, the digital hands raised. I think Atri Basu is, if not mistaken, is from SwitchON. Okay. Never mind. I think we will, as I go on with my talk, I think we'll feel free to ask more questions and interact. So I'll continue. So I like Saraswati said, I am working as a senior project manager here at SwitchON Foundation. I'm like nearly 8 to 9 months old in the organization. And I look after a project here called the Green Bengal Innovation Network, GBIN, which is running with the objective of promoting, supporting, and scaling up green enterprises and startups, MSMEs in West Bengal. The whole idea of the project was formally launched last year with this whole idea of inculcating a very entrepreneurial culture in the state. So I represent that organization, and it is with that lens I'm going to talk to you guys today. So this is what the agenda for today looks like. I am, while it is the fellowship program, which I would primarily like to concentrate today, but before I would like to just build up towards that with certain data, some aspects, some from our entire world of green skills and green job, the sustainability space, which we are discussing today. So this is in a nutshell about SwitchON Foundation. We are a 15-year-old nonprofit organization headquartered in Kolkata, working in the space of sustainability, with our focus being on two primary areas, which is clean air and sustainable cities, where we work on themes like air pollution, electric vehicles, active modes of transport like cycling and walking. This is our urban intervention, you can say. And on the rural front, we concentrate on energy, water, and agriculture, with all these sectors having a sustainability, having a green angle to it. Our whole journey started in 2008 with our founder, Mr. Vinay Jaju, going for a climate ride. And it is the observations that he had from the climate ride while he was going through these regions, which are also the coal belts of India, the eastern regions, parts of Bengal and India and so on. That's where he observed that how the climate is changing and how fossil fuels and everything are adding up to the crisis. And that's where the journey began. So at this point of time, I would also like to share my organization's video. It's a 2-minute video, which I would like to just share.
Today we face the biggest and most urgent challenge in the history of humankind. It's time to build a movement, celebrate, and inspire climate action.
So I'll go back to my PPT. So that's pretty much about us. And this is, in a nutshell, the project which I look after here at SwitchON Foundation, which is the GBIN project. Here in this project, we are working extensively with youth, the students of colleges and universities, who are going to be our next generations, who are soon going to go out of colleges and universities and add to the workforce. So we are working very closely with them, orienting them about sustainability, about different job opportunities that they have in the sustainability space and how can they acquire those relevant skills. At the same time, in the project, we're also dealing with the sustainable enterprises and the startups, and we are trying to strengthen them, help their businesses grow so that they can add to the green economy of West Bengal in a much larger way. And these are some of the key areas on which the project GBIN works. We work on an array of themes, starting from circular economy, waste management, pollution control, sustainable and climate smart agriculture, recycling, renewable energy. So anything which is sustainable, anything which needs our attention for the economy to be as sustainable as possible. We almost work on all the themes, and we are really glad that in the last couple of months, we have actually collectivized nearly like 100 entrepreneurs who are working across these themes. And so this is pretty much about GBIN, and I'll just quickly take all of you through some data points, some trends which are being there in the global space in India and in Bengal. When we talk about green jobs and green skills, I think it's first important to understand what we are talking about. I'm sure most of you must be knowing it, but like briefly touching upon, it's a sector which is concentrating on making our world, our earth, our environment sustainable, clean, green, free from pollution. And it is the jobs in the relevant sectors which enable the businesses, the individuals to workforce to contribute towards a clean environment, an eco-friendly world. And for that, the skill sets, the necessary skill sets, the individuals, the youths, the professionals must acquire to make themselves fit for those green jobs are nothing but the green skills. So according to this Global Green Skills Report 2002, they say that if we have to deliver real change, we have to really think about green jobs and green skills. I mean, so far, we have seen certain traditional sectors performing in certain traditional ways. But I guess with this entire narrative of all the businesses, all entities being sustainable to address the climate crisis, we know that the climate clock is ticking, and we don't have many years before the global temperature rises about certain degrees. So I think to contribute towards that, it is the right time when all of us here, we start thinking about how we can contribute to this entire space. And I think working in the right space, working with the right skills is what we need and is the utmost priority. So these are certain data points I've just collected from some of the reports. But if you observe that the trend has been changing, I mean, there is a huge need, demand in the nation, in the world. I mean, there is global demand as well, but in India, I'm going to say that there is a huge demand for green talent in the workforce, and it is just growing day by day. So, I mean, and it is in alignment with our Paris Agreement that we need to achieve the net zero emissions by 2050. And it is from this that when we are working with our entrepreneurs, we have also seen that the traditional entrepreneurs, the startups that we used to see even a couple of years ago, that entire trend is changing, with now all the small businesses thinking of, even if they are not producing something which is environment friendly, but they are at least looking at making their business practices as sustainable and as green as possible. And I think that is where they would need huge amount of workforce which understands green jobs, which understands what green skills look like. And that is where, as youth, as young professionals like you, can actually make a difference to this entire world. And so in India, if you see, there is, according to the Skill Council for Green Jobs, I'm happy to say that even we have signed a MOU with SCCJ, which is right now one of the biggest entities working towards skilling the youth force, the workforce, the professional space on green jobs, on green certifications. And they say that by 2047, 35 million green jobs are going to be created in India alone. And these are some of the trending and the emerging sectors. So it's not just we have these businesses which are just making eco-friendly products, they are green. But I was just reading some data yesterday, and there's data that it is the IT sector which is actually now hiring more and more of like green skills and professionals with green skill sets and so on. So because right now, all the spaces, all entities, be it a nonprofit, be it a social enterprise, be it is a corporate house, they all are making their choices very conscious, and they want their businesses to have the as less carbon footprints as possible. There is this whole concept of ESG consulting, ESG rating, ESG credit. I mean, there are all these companies which are ESG reporting, which are actually reaching out to these ESG consultants to see if their business practices align with the environment, social governance, reporting methodologies. And if not, then how do they make their businesses more sustainable and relevant? So there's a huge amount of potential which is there in this entire sustainability space. And I would definitely talk from a point of view of working in a nonprofit and what kind of challenges we are facing and how we are addressing those gaps. But I guess as professionals, we need to deep dive into this entire space and see if we want to work in this space, then what kind of skill sets we need, be in operations, be in monitoring, be in science, innovation, etc. And there are like huge amount of certification programs, skilling programs that are being launched by the state government, by the central government, to upgrade the workforce with the skills. Because as it has been observed, that while the companies are pushing the demand, they're not seeing that much amount of supply, because professionals or individuals, youth is probably not aware that this is also a mainstream opportunity where they can contribute in a big way. And then even if they're aware, they don't know how should they gather skills or what kind of jobs they should look for, they should search for, how do they apply for it. So I think this is the right time to actually work, do a research and see like as individuals, as professionals, how we can mainstream this and contribute to this entire transition. This is green entrepreneurship. This is a subject which is very close to me. This is what I am doing at SwitchON. And I think our call at SwitchON, our call out to the youth, because we work very closely with the schools, with the colleges, universities, researchers, students who are doing PhD, MA. We tell them that there is one side where you can add to the workforce, you can gain skill sets, and you can take up jobs with in the sustainability space with corporates. But there is also another area where you can start your own enterprise, where you can start your own business and create jobs, because I think that would also be necessary. And in that whole process, while you're creating jobs, you're skilling workforce, you are contributing to this entire climate crisis and climate change issue. So the entrepreneurship journey is not something which is very easy, but we are seeing our huge amount of youth in our colleges and universities of West Bengal that they are already started working in some startups while they're in college, and they're all in the work sustainability space. The other day we were in IIT Shibpur, and that is where some of the students came up and said that we have already started working, we have already built up prototypes, models on sustainable startup. Would SwitchON like to come forward and help us in some way so that we can take this business forward? So while it's a difficult journey, but I think it's not something that as youth we can't do. So that is another area where we have huge potential, and particularly in the sustainability space. And so coming from the SwitchON perspective and the kind of challenges that we have faced, and I have faced at the program, is that there is a significant gap in the awareness level amongst when we go to the colleges and universities. The entire concept of sustainability, I'll not say everyone, but it's very new to a lot of these to these students, and they don't understand our language often, and we have to really make them understand through like series of sessions what we are talking about. And once they understand, they understand that, okay, this is how they can contribute at the college level. And there's this absence of orientation that we often find amongst the youth to work for environmental causes, because that mainstreaming is still very lacking. But I guess with efforts of foundations, organizations like SwitchON, there are many other organizations in West Bengal that we are closely working with. And I think the scenario is definitely going to change. So there is a lot that we all of us can do towards this. And it is with this idea that we came up with this concept of fellowship. I mean, at SwitchON, we did have this concept last year when we called for applications for media fellowship, where we had called out to participants, to professional students, to collect some beautiful and impactful stories from the field. So this time we thought, from the GBI in front, why don't we come up with something called the Green Enterprise Fellowship? So this is meant for anyone who is currently looking for making some contribution to the sustainability world, to anyone who is looking to start their own venture at some point of time but doesn't know where to start from. And the other side, where we started this fellowship program, was we have this huge pool of entrepreneurs, these green entrepreneurs, who are really passionate, driven, motivated, but they're very small in their businesses right now, and they need a lot of support from the young minds, from aspiring entrepreneurs who can contribute to their businesses in whichever way they can. So that was the whole reason, like idea of bringing the change makers, the aspiring professionals and youth, along with the green entrepreneurs. So this is some basic details. It's a 1-year full-time experiential program in West Bengal. It is open to youth in the age bracket of 24 to 35 mostly, primarily with students who have done their masters, completed their masters, and preferably with professionals with 2 to 3 years of work experience, if they work experience in the development space or in the environment space. If professionals or individuals have work experience in concepts or ideas like incubation, entrepreneurship, etc., then that is definitely an add-on. So it's a full-time program where we have 5 fellows being working full-time for a period of 10 to 11 months with green enterprises and startups of Kolkata, Bardhaman, and Durgapur, because that is where our entrepreneurs come from. And the idea is to learn from the entrepreneurs. So the fellows will be placed for this entire 1 year, will be working with multiple startups and enterprises. So they will be placed in their offices. They will be closely watching, observing what a green enterprise, what a green entrepreneur looks like, what are the business models they are working on, how they are functioning on a day-to-day basis, concepts like bootstrapping, funding, etc. And where the fellows can contribute are like in terms of marketing, communications, finance, research, documentation. These are some of the areas where the fellows, the 5 onboarded fellows, would be contributing to the enterprises, with marketing and communication being the most preferred skill set that we are looking at, because that is where most of these entrepreneurs need help. They being very small and nascent, they need to enhance their visibility. So anyone who is interested in doing this and they want to contribute to these entrepreneurs in whichever way, are welcome to apply for this fellowship. The remuneration, it's a stipend-based program. So every month, each fellow receives a stipend of rupees 30,000, which is being provided by GBIN and SwitchON Foundation. The program structure is pretty much split into classroom training, on-the-job training, mentorship sessions, working directly with the entrepreneur in the entrepreneur's office itself. Offerings being stipend, employment opportunities, letter of recommendations from SwitchON and from the enterprises where the fellows would be working. Number of positions open are 5, and tentative starting of the batch is mid-September. We have already started the process. We have already actually done rounds of applications, and we've also done some bit of shortlisting at our end, but we are still open to receiving more amount of meaningful applications. We would definitely like to see some very passionate youth coming up and contributing to these entrepreneurs. So this is pretty much from my end, because I would also like to listen to the thoughts and take some questions, or is there anything else that you would like me to touch upon? But it's the fellowship program that I would definitely like to concentrate, because it's a very, I believe this is the first time we are doing this, but I believe this is going to be a great opportunity for all the youths, the professionals who are looking for that orientation, or that how does this entire space look like? What does sustainability take? I mean, and what does it expect? And I think the best place would be learn the concepts around sustainability, green skills, green jobs. I don't think there would be any other space there other than these entrepreneurs, because they're the ones who have started their business from the scratch, and they have that vision, they have that passion. And I think that orientation is very much required for the youth to understand how this entire space works like. I mean, the bigger corporates already have their processes, their systems in place, and they are pumping in so much amount of money. I'm not talking against the corporates, but I think the best place to learn these skill sets would be along the journey of the entrepreneurs. So, I mean, I think our co-founder Vinay has learned it that way. He's been a serial entrepreneur. His whole family has been entrepreneur. His brother, his wife, they all have their own startups, enterprises which are sustainable and which are, I mean, they're all around. The organic, which is run by Vinay's wife, Ekta Jaju. It's like a global name now, and in the organic food space, in the organic agriculture space. So I think the best place to learn would be with the entrepreneurs, along with the entrepreneurs. And I think the amount of skills, the kind of skill sets that you all would bring to the table to the entrepreneurs, it would be a mutually beneficial space for each one of us. I mean, each one of us, I guess. So, Sarveshwar, I think I would, at that point, I would like to stop.
Sure. Thank you so much, Ranjita. This is firstly truly aspiring, an evolving sector and space that you have presented to all of us. Just one, maybe a question from my end, and we would be opening questions to everyone, like participants feel free to ask. Sure. Ranjita, like there is quite often, a question that we face at Catalyst, with many students, who are now, of course, or even like graduates, people who have worked in certain, maybe, core areas. It could be like something around gender advocacy, or, something in the order of like, say, finance or HR. And, they have, they sometimes wonder, and if you can, help us understand that what could be like a combination of skills that you would consider, to be able to work with the sustainability sector. Like, are there really any quote unquote special skills, or would you consider, some of the universal skills, if you would like to, highlight through your experience for all of us? Thank you.
Sure. So, I mean, if you look at me, I mean, I would say I don't think there's quote unquote any special kind of skill sets. While in my PPT I did, and they were all talking about these green skills, and but I guess the biggest skill is the passion and the drive. But if I have to say skill sets, I mean, that is something that I am also learning while I'm working on this project. Knowing some of the basic, functioning of the sustainability space. For example, concepts like ESG, which is something I was very new to when I started working on GBI, but I had to do my own homework. I had to do my own learning. So I think that's the best way which you can do. And but I would not say that there are a lot of these programs which are there right now, concentrating on skilling the students on pertinent skill sets which are relevant for the sustainability space. So I think going through those programs definitely help. There are a lot of these terminologies, there are a lot of these concepts. If you know beforehand, definitely give you an edge when you're going for interviews, or when you're going for when you're looking for a job. But I don't think so there's a specific skill set, because if I have to say Vinay, I mean, he was a commerce graduate. He calls himself like a backbencher, a bad student also. So, but he never went through any such trainings, and all the learnings that have been from the on job and seeing what's around, what is needed around. So, but I guess reading helps. Building skill sets, going through programs, certification programs help. And there are a lot of these skill programs which are being run by the ministry, by SCCJ. There are a lot of these organizations which are running the skill set. So if someone is making a step, is taking the first step, and just wants to abreast themselves with the thing, I think it's a good way. It's a good learning. So yeah, that's something that I would like to say.
Right, thank you. Because this year we did see green jobs featuring very high, even on our budget documents, right? For that was presented, in the parliament. And we all remember during the budget speech also, within the first 10 minutes, the word sustainability featured quite a number of times, during our honorable finance minister speech. And we are happy that SwitchON is playing a role where along with this fellowship, I also remember you showing, if I'm not mistaken, a knowledge repository that SwitchON is building, isn't it? Like a knowledge bank. So which can definitely guide many of the aspirants to understand the sector better. Any questions from any of you? We would love to address your queries. Abhishek has raised his hand. Please go ahead. Thank you. Abhishek, you can unmute yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Sureshwar, and thank you, Ranjita, for the session. My apologies, I joined a little bit of late, so I missed out the earlier part of your presentation, but what I saw was pretty enlightening. So thank you so much. My query was slightly different. While your pitch was more related to the fellowships, I actually have a startup, and we actually deal into low skilled and unskilled worker segment, where we basically deal with this group of age of 18 to 40 or 50 years of age, where we offer them a lot of skilling opportunities through games and then jobs and other life support services to basically improve the living standards of these people. And our startup name, it's an Android app in multilingual, with a multilingual support. It's called Chalk, much like Crossroad or a junction. Chalk is like a labor adda, where a daily wage worker would go and get picked up. So my question was essentially that, are there opportunities for upskilling and channeling such youth and such unskilled workers into this sort of segment, because here these segments are definitely better paying and seen as more sustainable in the long run, with lots of opportunities opening up, as you mentioned. So while I missed your initial slides of where the skilling trainings and opportunities are available, is there a way we can kind of find out these places where these sort of people who are maybe 12th pass or graduates, typically not very, as you mentioned, not a very specific skill set is required, not very highly specialized skill set is required. So these sort of people, if they are given this sort of a hope of something of a sunrise sector is coming up where they can be channeled, are there opportunities, and what are those? We work with a lot of foundations, we work with a lot of training skill set centers who give them vocational training, things like tailoring, hospitality sector, and electrician, plumber, these kind of trainings. But this sort of training, if that's available, we could perhaps also offer this to our segment, is what my intention is.
So thanks, Abhishek, for your question, and really glad to see that you're working in your own startup, and so good to see that. I don't know if I have the right answer to your question, but at what we at SwitchON we're not dealing with unskilled workforce that you mentioned, but we do have our biggest amount of skill training for 10 or 12 plus youth is in the solar space. solar
Okay.
energy space. So where we are working, because our foundation started from the entire idea of renewable energy, solar panels and everything. So we have a separate program where it's called the skills program, and where we are working with these ITI polytechnic colleges, and these are all students who are just they are either doing carpentry training, or they are doing all a very basic electrician training and all that.
Yes.
So we are skilling them with the solar training, which basically helps them to understand how a solar panel can be fixed, what are the different parts of a solar panel, and how do you troubleshoot a solar panel. So basically the solar technician training that is there at SwitchON for this category of youth. And other than that, I think the other sectors, the trainings that we have are mostly on the farming side. If I say at the non-farming side, then this is the skill trainings that we have for our youth on the renewable space. So yeah, that's pretty much. But in general, I think a good way to engage these, like you said, that they also get a lot of these vocational trainings like tailoring and all that. But I guess if we have to also tune them into this entire space of sustainable world and sustainability and etc., I think it's good to tune them into like jobs or spaces or organizations which are working in the sustainability space. For example, someone who is tailoring. I mean, there is a huge the sustainable textile and fashion industry is coming in a huge way.
The handloom industry, yes.
Yeah, so it's a huge industry, because textile is like it's contributing to waste to a big way. Like after plastics, I guess textiles is the next industry which is contributing to waste. So there are a lot of these companies, small startups, which are actually working towards sustainable textiles, upcycling, reusing, etc., etc. So they need all these. They would need a tailor. They would need those kind of skill sets. So if we can rope them in these kind of businesses, I guess their skill sets get utilized, as well as we kind of also orient them to this entire sustainable world.
And you mentioned you do into farming. So we also deal in farming and off farming, both. It's not just when I say vocational, it's not urban led. We engage with FPOs and SHG groups in the tier 2 and rural areas as well. So those kind of trainings also you kind of impart, like in something for sustainable in the farming sector, like what?
Yes,
if you could
absolutely. So we are also working with FPOs here in Bengal, and like our presence. Our main space is in Bengal, but we also work in the other northeast, in the eastern regions, and Maharashtra also. And Maharashtra is a bigger place where we are working with the FPOs, but in Bengal also we are slowly building up. So there we are working a lot with the farmers, with these young farmers, the women farmers, on how do they make their farming practices sustainable. So we are teaching them that how do you use a solar pump to irrigate your field. So how do you use biofertilizers instead of chemical fertilizers? How do you use sustainable and good quality seeds instead of those low quality seeds which don't add to your yield? How do you use, how do you grow millets? Because this is the International Year for Millets, and millets is our like traditional food, and they don't know that they only know how to grow rice. So we are teaching them all these things, and there's a huge pool of young workforce there, farmers, women clusters. So we are working very closely with these sections also.
Very interesting. I think I've taken more than allocated time. So thank you so much. I'll be in touch. I've sent you and Soreshwar, both of you, LinkedIn requests. Kindly accept. I will be
Sure.
happy to kind of hear more. Like we have been working on with certain incubation centers on vermicompost, honeybee, silkworm, and drones training as well for
Okay.
these so sort of to kind of bring down the cost of fertilizing and all those things. So happy to hear all these other things that you just mentioned and engage further later. Thank you so much. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Abhishek, for the questions. And I think that really adds to some of the areas with great deal of clarity for all of us. Thanks, Ranjita, also for helping us understand better. Shovik has a question. Shovik, please go ahead. Thank you.
Hello, ma'am. I'm audible.
Yes, Shovik, you're audible.
Yes,
Go
sure.
ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, now I'm doing my undergraduate courses, and currently I am working in the microbial fuel cell research. So, and in the small scale also, I got a good results of production of electricity or green electricity. So, ma'am, is there any opportunity so that I can commercialize my product or my prototype in a large scale? And so, is
Sorry,
there any opportunity?
could you just repeat? I got the last bit, but what is exactly your prototype about?
My prototype is about microbial fuel cell. So production of green electricity by harvesting or harnessing the bacteria and all.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yes, and I got the good results in a small scale basis. So I want to commercialize my product in a large scale basis. So is there any opportunity for that so that I can do this work?
There is definitely opportunity, because I can say that because somewhere in the middle of last year, we had opened up a green business idea challenge, where we had called out applications from like all across India, asking the youth to pitch their green businesses, prototypes, etc. So I remember that there were a bunch of students from IIT Kharagpur or somewhere, where they had pitched an idea very similar to like this. So we had kind of, and they had also just made their prototype, and so there's, this is a little bit of technical information, technical area. So I would not be able to give that much of an information, but if you really want to be connected somewhere on this field, then I think I can definitely connect you with that. There's also a person at SwitchON who is working on the biofuel, on a similar section, as much as I know, but I can definitely connect you with, and there's definitely opportunity for all this. You've done your prototype, so that it's a good space that you're in, because
Thank you.
and do not like, please, I'll just suggest that you please go ahead and explore and talk about it, and as much as possible, because you definitely will find out options to take your venture forward. But I can definitely connect you with some relevant people.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for your help.
Are you currently, how far have you reached out to any sort of incubation center or anywhere with this idea?
No, ma'am, not till now.
It's still at the college level you are pursuing this?
Yes.
Okay. But I think if you want to take it very seriously, you should definitely try and reaching out to the right people, the incubators, all those, because they can really help you take your business, take your idea forward.
Okay, ma'am. And ma'am, the fellowship opportunity, it is only for the graduate students. It is available for the undergraduate students also, as I am in the last year of the graduation course.
Okay, but you have have you already appeared for your finals or no?
No.
You are yet to appear. No, in that case, I will have to say that probably you will have to wait for another year next year, because this will need full-time effort. This is This is something that you will have to work like in the office hours with the enterprise in their office space. So while you're studying, I don't think so that would be possible. So this is for anyone who has just completed their studies. Even if you're awaiting your results, that's okay. But you should have at least completed your current course, whichever course you are in.
Okay, ma'am. I will be eagerly waiting for the next course.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Shobik, for asking the question, and best wishes for your innovation. And thanks, Ranjita, for the much needed encouragement. I'm also sharing, Shobik, I think on the chat box, you can connect with us. I'm just sharing my WhatsApp number, because possibly the prototype that you are trying to develop, we do have some common connections, maybe as Ranjita mentioned, an incubation center, connected with maybe biotechnology and, power, electricity. So, these thematic areas we'd love to explore together, Shobik. Thank you so much. We
Yes,
have, I think we had Shopon raising his hand. Shopon, if you're still there, please go
Yes,
ahead.
sir.
Thank you.
Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Sure.
So I had the same question like Shobik had, that as I've completed my graduation, so I'm done with my final year. So can I aspire for the fellowship or not? So I got the answer.
Yeah, you absolutely can. So I think I'll request whosoever, all of you, if you're really looking forward to the fellowship, we'll circulate the application process, because mid of September is we would like to start the fellowship, start the batch. So we nearly have like a month to do this. So if you can apply as soon as possible, and we can start the process of interviews and assignments and everything.
Yes, another question is that, as you mentioned, that 2 years of experience is required, but as I've just completed my graduation, so am I eligible for the course?
That is preferable. I mean, we have not made it mandatory. Definitely a work experience adds to it, because then with that experience, you definitely can contribute a lot. But even if you don't have that experience, you've just passed out and you're a fresher, I think what we are looking at is the skill set, what kind of skill sets you have, and how well they marry with the needs of the entrepreneurs. Because like I said, the entrepreneurs mostly need people to work, the fellows to work on marketing, communication, visibility, because that's something that they really want their business to take forward too, because they are all very passionate, they're all very good, but they're still not well known. So they'll need a lot of work on the marketing, on social media. So if you have the current skill sets, even if you have not done a professional experience, but you have done it through your college, for your college clubs, for your committees, etc. And if you have the right skill sets, I think you can definitely be one of the fellows.
Okay, so will we get as you already mentioned, that there is no specific skill set, but the passion, if you're compassionate enough to work, and also there are certain specific skill sets you're mentioning. So will we get those, will we get the list of skills that is required?
Sure. So there are 4 major areas that we are asking the fellows to work and contribute to the entrepreneurs: marketing, communication, research, and finance. But when I have the detailed job description with me, which gives a sense of what kind of skill sets that we are looking at, what kind of work could be expected out of the fellows. I think if that is aligned with what we are looking at, I think you can definitely become one of the fellows.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shopanno. Maybe we take one final question if Ranjita's time permits, Paushali
Yeah,
has
yeah.
raised
Paushali.
her hand. Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello, am I audible?
You are.
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am, for that presentation. It was really interesting to see. I actually saw a QR code in your presentation and I scanned it to reach the application, the Google Doc through where you want us to apply. And I had just one question regarding the application process.
Sure.
There's a part called upload your application video. So do we have to like create a video detailing our skills or why we seek the fellowship? Like if you could just elaborate on that.
Right. So good to see that you are really up for it. You've already scanned the QR and you've already explored the application form. So really appreciate that. Yes, I mean that's the first round of when we are just collecting the applications from the fellows. I think it would be good. You can just record it on your phone, a simple 1-minute video. So there could be two ways to do it. One is that why do you think you should be chosen as a fellow? Why do you think you can? How do you think you can contribute to the fellowship program? Or it could be like there is a certain problem around you related to sustainability, and you or in your community or wherever you live, or some community that you know and you work for, and you think that that particular problem can be solved through and in an entrepreneurship way. So how do you think you can tackle that problem? Because tomorrow, the idea is that tomorrow after the fellowship, you might want to start your own venture. So how would you tackle a problem like that? So you can talk about that in your video, or you can say that how you can contribute to Green Enterprise Fellowship and why should you be chosen as a fellow. So I think it would be good if you can just do that along with uploading your resume and filling in other details.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone, for your questions, and I hope the queries around the Green Enterprise Fellowship, which is definitely a very positively, disrupting, if I can use that word, for the popularity sake, format of looking into how we make our lives, of both people and planet more resilient for the coming days. The unique aspect of the opportunity definitely lies in the fact that you are contributing to develop enterprises or to strengthen enterprises that are intervening into the green space. They may have started with an idea and they need that support. So SwitchON Foundation as well as Green Bengal Innovation Network, they have identified a great opportunity for all of us. Ranjita, thank you for addressing all the queries. And we'll definitely be sharing, as Ranjita mentions, after the session, like possibly like a more detailed understanding, including the job description of the fellowship, back to all the participants. And we sincerely look forward to many of you be part of the cohort. And I would like to mention that if by chance this year, for any reason, you cannot make it to the 5, but it's important that we stay in touch with SwitchOn's work. And there could be multiple ways, alternative ways, parallel pathways, right, in which you may be still involved in the green space and sector. Ranjita, thanks for your time and your sincere effort to make the sustainability space not just important, but also very attractive to the youth. I must, confess. Thank you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here, and in whichever little way I could, explain the importance of being in this whole space. I think even if we can touch one life and influence one youth to be there, I think that makes a whole lot of difference. So thank you so much for having me here. And I will definitely look forward to some of the applications flowing in from this group. And like you said, that fellowship is only one of the ways that we, the youth, all of you can make a difference. But at SwitchON, we have various level of initiatives. We keep on doing events, awareness sessions. There are times, from time to time, we reach out to colleges and people for volunteering. So volunteering is a great way to understand this whole space before you actually deep dive and plunge into it. So we have ample amount of opportunities to be here. You just need to have that right spirit, and I think your halfway is done. Your half work is done, I guess. So yeah.
Thank you so much once more. From all of us at Catalyst, a big thank you to all the participants for turning up, supporting our endeavor. Thank you, Ranjita, and our best wishes to the entire SwitchON team. This was truly and really endearing, inspiring, eye-opening, and a pertinent exchange session, and possibly, definitely the beginning of many more such interventions in the coming days. Thanks a lot from all of us at Catalyst. Stay well, all of you. Stay safe. Do apply for the Green Enterprise Fellowship and stay in touch with us for any support. Thank you.